Hey, what is up everyone? And geez, that pipe underneath for that specific point right there just goes all rainbowy all of a sudden. I'm guessing it's probably because of the actual magic towards the forms of that new portal or something, but I'm just making it myself. So either way, hey, what's up ladies and gentlemen, I'm Sonic the Hedgehog here, and I'm back for some more yet again for the likes of the Mexi Toys videos. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back for some more of Let's Play of Super Mario Sunshine for the Nintendo GameCube. So last time we have managed to able to get things started with the new world that we actually did manage to explore on, and that was Serrano Beach. And today we're about to be continuing exploring through Serrano Beach, and then possibly, according to the forms of the specific time length, we might able to actually 100% through everything in terms of it, well, Serrano Beach itself. So here we go with episode 5, King Boo Down Below. Oh boy, do we might able to actually have a revenge on King Boo after when Luigi's Mansion came around. After all, that Mario has been captured by King Boo once back in the day in 2001. So it's about time that Mario might able to actually face off against with King Boo himself. But this time in the actual summery kind of vibe, rather than just on the spooky vibe, unlike Luigi's Mansion. So before you're able to get inside on the actual hotel, however though, let's go ahead and grab this the next blue coin, which appears to be hidden on that a stack of those sunflowers, as far as I can see for that specific point. And just like in episode 4, we do need to get into the forms of the casino part, which, unlike in the forms of episode 4, that basically we're gonna have to deal with the forms of that specific giant slots in order to be able to actually proceed to the actual obstacle challenge. In this particular mission this time around, well, obviously, first off, there's the another blue coin that has been hidden onto that familiar M graffiti writing. And can you grab the blue coin, please? Thank you. And let's not forget ourselves the, you know, the extra one-up in case if we're about to be able to get a lot of deaths later on. But I don't think it's that noticeable, I feel like. But even then, though, we'll point that out whenever we get into the future challenges up ahead. So anyways, let's grab this little purple panel right there. And this actually leads us to the bottom part of that specific arena, and I think that's where the next boss fight comes in. Oh yeah, I can definitely tell because of the forms of that evil laughter to top it off, so I wonder who that could be. Oh, of course it's all a bit... Whoa! King Boo, are you alright? I mean, sure, you look awfully different than the likes of how it does it in Luigi's Mansion, but still. So anyways, in this entire boss fight, as you can see, basically we need to get a lot of emphasis on those fruit or chili pepper. I think you should probably recommend you do the chili pepper first, because that way, if King Boo managed to able to actually eat the chili pepper, this allows him to able to actually get a little bit of a tongue swinging kind of vibe, which either way, after when he just goes all in fire, then it's your chance to able to actually just to knock him out by simply able to actually tossing one of those fruits. It doesn't matter if it's either the pear or a durian or a coconut or anything like that, so it's just a matter of the preference that you might able to actually just to consider going for. However, here's the thing, as you can see on the entire battle arena, is the fact that every once in a while is the fact that those three spinning wheel parts may able to actually start spinning every once in a while, but in order to actually just try to stop it, then you have to ground pound those little purple panels. So even then, once you try to ground pound those purple panels, then you should able to actually just make them freeze in place. So, however though, it will start moving again until when King Boo is able to actually activate the actual slots of himself. Some of these slots can be summed up as like this, like for instance the few icons representing the pineapples, which actually obviously gives us the opportunity to carry fruits, and some other times with the question marks, which is very commonly, considering how the fact that, well, this boss fight might be kind of like the similar vein as in the forms of episode 4, you know, that specific slot machines that you have to go through. But of course the one you should probably aim for is of course the fruit icons, because that way you're gonna have to do the actual repeating process again. So even then though, like grabbing a chili pepper and throw and toss it right at him, and then same thing for any kind of fruits for that matter, then you should able to probably deal the amount of damage on him. Well, it might be still 3 hits boss fight scenario, so that's pretty much unchanged for the most part though, unless if you're trying to able to actually just to keep on spraying water at King Boo until you're able to actually make him activate the slots. So, oh, we haven't seen those blooper enemies as well as these cheap enemies for quite a while, ever since in Wrecker Harbor, but I guess it's quite nice to be able to see those enemies again. But I digress. Today's day, actually, before we're able to move on to the next mission, is the fact that, well, I'll explain more about it whenever we get on to the forms of, well, for the majority of the blue coins hunting, as well as the 100 coin Shine Sprite mission as well, or the 100 coin Shine Sprite, if I like to call it that. But either way though, when you deal enough with the amount of damage on King Boo, as you can see, then the entire Shine Sprite will be yours to obtain. And unlike in Luigi's Mansion, where Luigi did manage to able to suck up King Boo with his Poltergust 3000, Mario just simply managed to defeat King Boo by able to toss fruit, or hard fruit, on its head, or something like that. Sure, the actual angle of that specific crown looks a little bit different than the likes of how it does it when we used to in Luigi's Mansion back in the day. I'm guessing they're trying to make a reference to the future installments like Mario Kart Double Dash or something like that, that he doesn't have the actual red diamond onto that specific attachment or something. So here we go on to episode 6, which is the mission is named Scrubbing Surana Beach. And just like the forms of the first episode, as you can clearly see on screen, we obviously have to go and take place in the outside portion of Surana Beach itself. Whilst unlike the previous missions that we've done, it usually takes place inside the hotel sometimes. So here's the actual main emphasis on this mission, is the fact that we need to clean all this mess within the time limit, which we got ourselves 3 minutes to able to accomplish with. If you manage to make the timer run out of time, well, basically you're gonna have to start all over again, and also you get kicked out of the painting, or get kicked out of the level, just like how it does in the forms of the blooper surfing kind of mission. So even then though, it's not too bad, especially noticeable, it's not that difficult in my honest opinion, even though for some reason as a kid, I seem to have a lot of struggle with this mission back in a long time ago, but now I'm grown older, especially noticeable how much I'm hardcore after all, even for not just the forms of the fastest hedgehog of course, but to be more accurately a hardcore gamer. That means we pretty much get a guarantee we can able to cope with this no problem this time around. So even then, the best recommendation for this is to keep on doing this technique like I'm just doing right now, because that way it can able to actually get rid of these electrical cube super easier. So even then though, that makes it a little bit obvious for that specific method that I'm assuming that most people seem to already do that before. So as far as for the first time players who ever experienced this game so far, recommend you do that trick, because that way it'll able to work. So even then though, just got quite a few electric cube left, and hopefully by that time is this the part? Oh wait, there's still more to that. Where in the world that could be? Ah, there it is right there. So yeah, when you're trying to clear out the most of the area, then, well, as soon as you can see where the time stops, this means that I think the mission has been accomplished. But before you're able to actually complete that, however, though, we need to talk to that specific same Pianto as we talked to ever since during the forms of when the mission started. So, anyways, let's grab some more extra lives before the insanity happens. And before you're able to actually just to grab the Shine Sprites, we'll go ahead and obtain the next 2 blue coins, which is going to be presented by those new keys, as you can see right there. So even then, we'll just go ahead and keep them clean enough as it goes, and then that way we can get ourselves not only 1 blue coin, but also the 2nd blue coin on this mission. So kudos to that, I suppose. So anyways, let's go ahead and talk to this Pianto here, and that way, whenever we ask him that, then we should be able to get ourselves our glorious Shine Sprite after all. So, fantastic, Mario. So yeah, there we go. So either way though, I honestly think that this mission wasn't so hard, even for the forms of likely when you grown older, then the more you played this game, then you finally realize about the fact that I found this mission very easy. If you do manage to collect 60 of those Shine Sprites, as you can clearly see on screen, the entire Delfino Plaza was actually shining brightly. So this means as a result, everything else is in a normal state in terms of the actual tone of everything. So, well, apart from those few objectives that we need to still do, but we'll save that in the future. So episode 7, Shadow Mario checks in. And I think in the final mission, if I recalled, the final 2 missions in Toronto Beach is going to be always takes place inside the actual hotel itself. So, pretty obvious standard stuff for the most part though, so even though there's not much anything else to say about it, so. But, before we get inside the hotel, we need to go ahead and get ourselves our next blue coin here. So far we've only got about 142 so far, so we've only got about 98 of those blue coins left, so we are surely we can almost get towards it. So either way, let's get inside the actual hotel. And right off the bat though, we got another Shadow Mario thing to deal with right here. So either way though, let's just go ahead and dish him out before we're able to actually just to do anything. So even then though, we can expect to able to deal with him like no sweat. So in fact, this might actually be one of the easiest Shadow Mario missions of the whole entire game, because for one noticeable thing, he stops any forms of likely, well, yeah. I won't forget this. I was trying to able to go after those, the majority of the blue coins in this mission, but we'll save that until whenever we get onto the final episode mission in Toronto Beach, and that was of course episode 8. So 61 Shine Sprites so far, which is not that bad, but even then though, we are getting there. We're actually now on the halfway point in the Shine Sprites throughout now, so even then though, and talking of which actually, is the fact that hopefully by that time, whenever we finish up with the majority of the main worlds of the game, hopefully we are collecting the majority of the Shine Sprites in terms of Delfino Plaza, well, most of the time, but we'll explain more about it until then. So, Red Coins in the Hotel, episode 8. And this is going to be pretty obvious, it obviously takes place inside the hotel, and I think this is where we're able to actually collect ourselves some whole bunch of red coins, or to be more accurate, 8 red coins I should say. So, before I do anything when it comes to that specific mission in mind, can I stop getting knocked over by those dang staircases? Oh jeez. I know I feel a little bit nitpicky at this point because I was trying to be a little bit fast, as far as you guys may be able to notice by this point, but yeah, before we get into the actual mission, however though, let's just go ahead and take care of those blue coins first, because otherwise though, if I do manage to do the actual mission itself, then and if I totally forgot about the forms of the blue coins themselves, then, well, it will become a little bit of a time-consuming way. So, anyways, let's go ahead and just spray this on here, and hopefully we would be able to get ourselves our next blue coin from down there. So we would expect it able to not get dropped down from the lowest floor. And there we go, that's that. So even then, I think we've got about 9 blue coins left in this world so far. So hopefully we could able to actually get this process going in terms of, you know, any other blue coins that we can able to consistently grab. So, there we go, there's another one, and we've only got 8 more left, so hopefully we're able to actually find the majority of them in terms of likely for this episode, and especially noticeable with, well, the 100 coin Shine Sprite, as I said this before. It will be a possibility for sure, which, unlike in, Recco Harbor, as well as Delotto Beach, where I have ourselves a bit of a waste of time on those 2 worlds in terms of 100 coin Shine Sprites, as far as you guys should already know. And hopefully by that time, whenever we get to Toronto Beach, specifically in the hotel bit, or even the casino gambling bit, which is, there's also another way you can do that, but I feel like trying to do things a little bit more differently than the likes of how it does it from before, because, well, you can definitely see why until whenever we get onto that specific stuff. So, okay, so we've got 6 more of those blue coins left, so yeah, we are getting there. Especially noticeable how the fact that I do understand about the fact that most people seem to always attempt to do the music videos in the background, so just in case everything else goes a little bit more faster than attempt to, which I don't honestly attempt to do that this time around because, well, it just makes every single process going, including the forms of my video editing software doesn't seem to like my music videos all of a sudden, so, but only Windows Movie Maker most of the time. So at least expecting about the fact that, well, and another big concern about this is the fact that whenever I was trying to do some more editing stuff when it comes to doing like music and stuff like that while using the actual capture footage from Roxo Game Capture HD Pro. However, I will admit though, I'm not exactly impressed with my quality every time whenever I get into that specific stuff, because for one noticeable thing that I remember back in 2014, where White Teddy usually did this Let's Play back in the day, but of course that particular original Let's Play of that Super Mario Sunshine Let's Play was no longer there, just because of the improvement quality and everything, so as a result, and same applies to the commentary as well. Stupid chair! Ah, that stupid chair just managed to waste my opportunities. Ah. Oh well, we'll try this again somehow. So yeah, as a result of that specific stuff though, is the fact that when he managed to try to deal with not only just trying to grind for some more blue coins, but also the... I don't think I can make it, no. Ah, that was a bit of a waste, but hopefully second time is a charm when it comes to those two the blue coins, as far as I like to say for this point. So, yeah, because I remember back in 2014, whenever he starts to be collecting blue coins, as well as the 100 coin shine sprites and everything, every time whenever he uses music in the background without any sort of commentary involved, the only bad thing about that back in the day is the fact that the actual picture quality, in addition to actually make everything else a little bit too blurry for my taste, but it's also the fact that, well, the actual contrast on the actual video quality starts to get a lot blurrier than in forms of how it does it when we used to. So as a result, yeah, that's usually a problematic, I feel like, back in the day. But since after all we still got ourselves our Roxo Game Capture HD Pro for about almost 5 years now, ever since in 2015, despite the fact that we actually did remove our Wii U game capture test video on our channel, probably because of how the fact that we didn't get that much views at that point. So that's why I get a feeling from that. That's why I essentially get the feeling for that point. So anyway, so let's go ahead and ground pound. Oh, wait a minute, before we double check on that different area, so need to double check is anything in here. Nope, there's nothing around here apart from we could able to grab a few coins, but we're not going to do that just yet until God knows what mission are we going to select. So anyways, let's go ahead and ground pound, and wow, I just managed to went flipping through those two boxes, or two crates. So there's one blue coin in this crate box to smash through, and I think there's also going to be... oh, there's another coin here, and... of course another coin there, but let's not worry about ourselves because there's another blue coin over there. There's also the final two we can collect, but we'll save that whenever we get onto the forms of the actual 100 coin shine sprite mission, however though, because, well, just feel like it, because otherwise that, well, we can able to actually get those in time before God knows whenever we're trying to search for that stuff. So for now, in addition to able to get ourselves our hit damage right here, or the fall damage as far as I can see, let's get into the actual mission itself, if I could just... although, before I double check on anything, is there anything up onto that specific area? I don't know, we'll just double check. Oh, of course, they actually transport me to the exact same spot, so... at least luckily for me, since I did manage to solve any kinds of these puzzle segments quite easily and fast, this means I can able to do this mission really easily. So yeah, as a result, just like the forms of any other red coin mission challenges, you still need to collect ourselves 8 of those red coins, except, well, obviously we now have the longest time limit, which appears to be 5 minutes. I think the only reason why we got 5 minutes to find them is because the actual hotel itself is actually going to be really, really huge to investigate, so... yeah, and when you're trying to able to move around, and if you manage to know where the locations are, such as myself, then you should able to do it no problem. But for the first time players, ever since I was a kid, I seem to keep on failing this mission quite a few times because of how the fact that sometimes I never know where every single red coins are normally located. But then again, the more I'm growing older, this means I can now able to memorize every single layout in terms of where the red coins are in the actual hotel itself. Especially when you're trying to solve these puzzles quite easily, such as this one here, and same applies for that specific going for the actual, the Boo picture and stuff like that. So even then, at least I found these particular stuff pretty simple to grips with, so yeah, you get the idea for that solution right there. So even then, I don't usually consider this to be the hardest mission in the game, but then again, we'll explain more about this until whenever we get into, well, I would say towards the end of this Let's Play, basically. So even then, God knows what this Let's Play is going to end, but then again, we have to wait and see what happens until, likely due to the forms of likely the end of March at some point, because you know exactly how this goes when it comes to uploading schedules as the most current updates and stuff. Like, for instance, after I'm done with this, then, or I'm done with this world, I'm pretty sure I'm going to be moving on to the next world until tomorrow in the forms of Saturday, because, you know, uploading schedules on Super Mario Sunshine will be 4 days for this point, and, you know, Piglet is carry on doing Yoshi's Crafted World and during the forms of 3 days, so, per week, as far as I like to point things out. And there we go, folks, we pretty much guaranteed to able to get ourselves, the next Shine Sprite, of course. And of course, we'll go ahead and just explore Serana Beach for the final time for able to take it on the forms of the 100 coin Shine Sprites. So, I think this might actually be one of the easiest 100 coin Shine Sprites, at least as far as I'm concerned. But as you can see on screen, I'm going to be selecting episode 3, just because it just makes every single process going in terms of 100 coin Shine Sprites methods a little bit easier. There's also another way you can do this by simply, you know, trying to select episode 4, by trying to able to grind as many of those coins as you can due to those slots. But I don't feel like trying to do that, because even then I just like to able to do a different method this time, because I know some people seem to do this, and then I've never actually done it for myself, so even then I might be very curious about that. So now, I suppose whenever we get onto this process going, there are quite a few things I'd like to talk about. Well, when we get inside the actual hotel itself, or the Hotel Delfino itself. Although, talking of which, actually, it's the fact that since in episode 5, that was the final time we did manage to able to go into the forms of the casino part. And as a result, for the majority of any single missions throughout, like episode 7 and 8, the majority of the mission takes place in is, of course, the inside the hotel itself. This will actually be the final time we're going to be exploring around in the actual hotel itself, because whenever we're done with this world completely, then we can essentially going to be moving on to the next world after this, which is, well, I'll do those in a chronological order rather than just likely to go in which specific world I like to go to. But then again, we'll discuss more about it until whenever we get to tomorrow. So, but you get the idea for that solution right here. So I think we are done with the candle flames. So I bet there's going to be more coins inside the hotel itself. So I figured that there's also another reason why we're going to be selecting episode 3 as opposed to episode 4 or 5. I don't think episode 5 will able to actually make it happen because of the King Boo fight. So as a result, you can either do episode 3 or 4 depending on your stimulation. So yeah, that's why I get the central feeling for this. So, and there's also another reason why is because Yoshi will come in handy when it comes to doing the 100 coin Shine Sprite, because you know with all these Boos they keep on sleeping. Well, every time when Yoshi just eats one of these Boos, it actually gives you a coin. So even then though, or the normal coin I should say. So even then though, it's a definition of a good recommendation for doing that. So as a result, there's also another way I like to do that. So, but I digress. A few things we want to explain about this. Sorry for a little bit of a beginning, better late than never discussion as far as you guys should already know. Recently, today's day is the forms of the 20th of March today in 2020. So this means that, first of all, happy 5-year anniversary in the English version of Mario Party 10. So yeah, I can't even believe that game has been out for 5 years now in terms of, well, it already does that on Japan, but in the forms of the English version of that game, it's been out for 5 years now. And to top it off is the fact that for those of you the Animal Crossing fans out there, recently today, Animal Crossing New Horizons has just recently released today for the Nintendo Switch across the whole entire world. So yeah, as a result, I bet that most people seem to really gonna be hyped to play that game for hours and hours on end. But for me though, it's not my cup of tea, as I said this countless amount of times, so because of that though, I should probably need to save up for something else. So yeah, for those of you probably wondering about the fact that why I'm such in a little bit of a strange mood today, well, reasonable story about this is the fact that when Piglet has already established earlier in the forms of, or what did I usually say that? I'm pretty sure I did say things like that. Recently, that you notice I've actually got myself all of the original 4 games of Tony Hawk's Pro Skater series at this point. And also same applies to the Dragon Ball Z Budokai Platinum version on the PlayStation 2, probably because of the actual cover art makes sense on the Platinum version of the game. And as far as I'm aware, that well, I did manage to test out the forms of well, since after all, we did manage to test out Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4 on my original Xbox so far. However, though, I had the same issue as I had with the forms of, not only in terms of Shadow the Hedgehog back in the day, and also Crash Twinsanity, also from long ago, and heck, even with the forms of SpongeBob SquarePants Battle for Bikini Bottom, also on the Xbox, which I still no longer own, just because, well, for whatever reason on my Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 on the original Xbox, cannot even play it on my original Xbox once again, so as a result, it can only play on the 360 version, which it still works, but I have one major gripe with it. It feels lacking with the forms of the actual widescreen or something like that, which as a result I have to deal with the forms of the ugly black border lines, which unlike in certain GameCube games running on the Nintendo Wii console, it does manage to do this slightly okay as far as the forms of the actual resolution goes, but at the same time though, I'm just simply not happy for about considerable amount of times with my luck dependent on the forms of my used copies of certain Xbox games. I might try to get another copy so that I can able to play the original Xbox console, but thankfully on my Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4 copy, which I still managed to have with me luckily, it does manage to work on my original Xbox at least, so even then though that, yeah, at this point in time I no longer had my original copy of Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 sadly, which is a shame because I've heard several of amazing things I've heard from the likes of Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3, according to some other fans who do seem to able to recommend it, but as a result, I just can't play it at all on my original Xbox console just to make it a little bit more of an old school look, because as a result, the only method I can play on is the Xbox 360, which I think at this point in time, about the fact that with the Xbox compatibility, backwards compatibility, I don't usually do that often, unlike in 2010, because in 2010, I usually utilize with the Xbox 360 backwards compatibility is of course playing through Super Monkey Ball Deluxe for the first time on the original Xbox because it's a definitive version of the game rather than on the PlayStation 2. So yeah, as a result for that specific stuff, I just have really stupid luck with all these used Xbox games, specifically the original Xbox games to be played on my original Xbox console itself. Oh jeez, I just have no idea what I truly explain about this point right about now. And yeah, this is the reason why that we actually did select this mission, as you can see, with Yoshi in mind. This because of how the fact that, as I said this before, every time you eat these boos with Yoshi, it actually gives us coins. So as a result, that way we can able to actually get ourselves even more coins when you're trying to do with that specific method. Sure, there's another way you can do this by simply able to, well, there's another mission you can also do the same method, but in the forms of episode 4. But I'm probably not going to do that method because it might find it a bit time consuming, especially when you're trying to deal with, you know, with the actual coin slots in mind. So or the actual slot machines, depending on how the fact that with, you know, just any sort of stuff. So, unfortunately, for the sake of time, I'll try to able to actually reorder or pick up another copy of, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 on the Xbox version again, so hopefully it would able to work again on my original Xbox copy, but it's just that it's just kind of a shame about the fact that my original copy doesn't seem to work on my original Xbox, but it does on the 360, however, though, so, yeah, I'm just getting a little bit wrecked, so, but as a result, luckily, though, I could still manage to able to actually have an option to do so, but I would order it later, but not now, though, because there are some other things I'd like to able to notice by this point, because, well, at this point in time, I had a ton of games to play on. But hopefully we would able to actually get a chance to get to it. Oh, I can see Yoshi on that specific ceiling. Well, to be more specifically, in that other hidden room or something like that. Or specifically the exactly the same room, as in those all kinds of pineapples they're usually being hidden on. So, but you know, you get the idea for that part. But unfortunately, we're gonna have to leave Yoshi behind because unfortunately that he doesn't have the ability to open up these doors. So hopefully we'll find another way to able to actually just to notice something like this. So, especially noticeable that we still got ourselves the final 2 blue coins left to find. So we were expecting that we can able to double check in any areas throughout. Especially noticeable how the fact that, well, we did manage to deal well with all sorts of boosts from now on. Well, apart from this very last one. But then again, we'll find out whenever we're able to get into that part. So, but yeah, as a result for this point, guys, there's not much else I can talk about. Apart from, recently, before we do anything else, it's the fact that Piglet has not even mentioned about this ever since in Yoshi's Crafted World's Let's Play so far. Recently, we actually got ourselves some more stuff on the Nintendo Switch. Specifically, the Luigi's Mansion 3 DLC pack, which of course at the moment right now, we got DLC pack number 1 for part 1, I should say, for Luigi's Mansion 3. And second is the fact that we actually got ourselves part 2, it's on its way. And thirdly, and most importantly, because I'm a huge Sonic fan, since after all I'm a nomination, or I'm of course a narrator on a specific Let's Play, I have managed to get myself Sonic the Hedgehog 2 Sega Ages lineup, so for the Nintendo Switch at least. So, okay, so there's the familiar blue Shine Sprite icon over there, which actually gives us, of course, another blue coin. And to top it off, there's the final blue coin in Sturana Beach. And let's not forget ourselves this last regular coin. And there we go. I think pretty much guaranteed for the sake of time, we are essentially 100% everything in Sturana Beach. So it doesn't take that long to able to actually get ourselves 100 coins in this world though. I mean, sure, it might take about likely 12 minutes or 13 minutes depending on what time you're able to actually try to cope with this though. But there we go. Sturana Beach is fully 100%. So yeah, we are basically done with that particular world. So yeah, I guess for the sake of time, we only got up to the next 2 worlds coming up. So even then, though, the ones we need to focusing on right now until tomorrow is the fact that we'll discuss on that right now. So yeah, and I think I should probably end things off here at this point too. So join me next time on Let's Play Super Mario Sunshine. Is the fact that we're going to be hit on to the next new world, which I think is actually known as Nuki Bay. So even then, it should be a little bit interesting. So I'll see you guys until tomorrow. Later, fellas. Gotta get some more chili dogs.